you
do you want the whole story?
Every detail.
Like most of these things, it's not, the real story is a little bit more mundane. But there is a backstory to it a little bit. We'd gone through 99, 2000, 2001, played very well, should have won a Grand Slam probably, end of the season, found different ways to lose to Wales, Scotland, then Ireland, consecutive games. I mean, you couldn't write it. 2002, we lose away in Paris, so we haven't won a Grand Slam. 2003, that season, we beat New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, consecutive weekends at home at Twickenham, play France in the first game, which the UK media said, why are you playing that first game? It's the only game that counts. It's the only two teams that have got a chance to win it, blah, blah, blah. We win that. And then the rest of the Six Nations, without being arrogant, was a little bit low-key because we beat Wales away. We didn't play great, beat Italy, beat Scotland. Suddenly we had this massive game to beat Ireland in a World Cup year to win a Grand Slam. And a lot of us are getting on. We're not putting out many more chances. And Wednesday before, we flew on this. It was a Sunday, wasn't it? It was a Sunday game. We flew out on the Thursday. Anyway, Wednesday before, Clive would have his normal sort of end of the training block sort of meeting and chat. And normally not a lot really got said, but this one was massive because he sat us down and he said, listen, what we've been through the last 4 years, there's no hiding place. You guys we've got nowhere to go to if we lose this game. There's nowhere to go. And when you play big games, you never talk about winning because that's obvious. It's all about winning. But I've never been in a meeting where anyone's ever said that. And it was a huge, huge call. And I sat there thinking, wow, that's a massive call. But you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right because it's been ridiculous. We should have won at least one or two, and we can't not do it because that team had been very successful. But at home, all people would talk about was the game we lost. So you might win 9 out of 10. The only game they talk about is the Scotland game or the Ireland game, at the foot and mouth game in 01, or losing at Wembley in 99. So we went into Dublin in the last chance saloon because the World Cup year. We then toured New Zealand and Australia, and it was a massive game, one of the biggest games of my life in terms of we just had to win. And if you'd said to us before the game, you can win by a point in the worst game of rugby ever played in the history of the sport with a dodgy drop goal that hits the back of someone's head and goes over, we'd have taken it because it's a win. So we were very, very determined. But the world had changed. Ireland were going for a Grand Slam. And the atmosphere was very, very confrontational in Dublin as we left the hotel. But it was great for us because normally when we used to come to Dublin, I remember when I first came, we used to stay up in the north. I forget the name of the hotel, but we were...
In Portmarnock.
I don't think it was Portmarnock, but it was a hotel way out. It was out of town. It was lovely. And it was sort of by the coast, and everything was very relaxed, and everyone was beautiful and peaceful. And it wasn't like being, and the boys would say, don't get lulled into this false sense of security because you get there Saturday afternoon, they'll try and kick the living daylights out of you. And but anyway, 03 was very, very comfortable. It was very, the atmosphere was unbelievable, wasn't it? Unbelievable. So we get to the stadium and we go out and we warmed up at that side. And then you won the toss. We went to toss the coin and I was unbelievably tense. And you were a relatively young captain for Ireland, weren't you, second year?
Five or six games into it, yeah.
Nervous looking. I was trying to... You were?
What?
I was very nervous. I was faking not being nervous.
That's my shitting my pants look.
Yeah. But I was twice as bad, but I was faking it because you have to learn how to fake it. But it was just, it was. But when you play a game like that, it's you against the world a little bit because the crowd's there. So we went out. You chose to play that way. You attacked the end. We warmed up out.
Yeah.
So I just naturally went out to the right-hand side because we'd warmed up that side. Normally when you play at a stadium, there's a tunnel and there's a changing room on either side. Most stadia are like that. And that's your side. You warm up that side, you run out that side. That's their side. The old Lansdowne was different in that both changing rooms were on this side. So we'd warmed up that side.
Or someone would guide you as you're running out, point you in a direction.
Yeah. So we ran out that side, because we were playing that way and we'd warmed up that side. So we lined up, and the thing that set it off was the guy who asked me to move was not the referee. If the referee had said to me, "You're that side," we'd have just moved, because it wouldn't have been a big deal. It wasn't a big deal, the actual moving. But it was. Now, I don't want to disrespect the guy who came out, but he was in a donkey jacket, I think. Was he the groundsman's assistant?
I don't even know. Was he the stadium announcer?
No,
or?
he wasn't. He didn't look like a stadium announcer. And at that point, when you're a couple of minutes away, I mean, sometimes, I don't know if it was when we tossed up, about 15 minutes before the game, an Irish official came up with a shirt for me to sign. And I said, "Mate, go away, I'll do it after." You've got no idea what you're going through 15 minutes before kickoff in one of the biggest games of your life. So you're getting revved up to play. At that point, I'm going to listen to my team, my people, and the referee. That's it, full stop, in the world. So when this guy comes out and says, "Oh, move the fellas down there," I said, "No, we're not going anywhere, just get on with the game." And the crowd went absolutely crazy. Because they were ready, they were very hyped up. They were absolutely bananas. And if you look at the tape, I've got Graham Rowntree and Neil Back next to me. And Backy just goes, he's very cold, Backy. He just went, "Can't move now." And I was looking, it's quite cringeworthy watching that, but I was looking at Graham Rowntree. He's got this silly smirk on his face because he knows you're in that mood, and I'm stomping up and down. And then a guy in a blazer came out and said, "Oh, you've got to go that side." And I said, that's when it all sort of kicked off. And then there was this pause, wasn't there? Because I saw you guys sort of trudging up this way, and I thought, what are they doing?
I had my own dilemma. I'll tell it in a second when you finish.
Because you were looking a bit hesitant walking up, and I thought you were going to the far end, to the terrace, to rev up the crowd. Honestly, I didn't know. And
But did the guy who came up in the jacket not say to you, "This is the side, you have to go that side, otherwise the president will have to walk on the grass"? Did you understand?
He didn't say to that, because my response to him was more abrupt. The way I remember it, and it was kicking off. So I think he realised he wasn't going to get.
Yeah.
I can't really, you don't remember the detail of that after, because there was a pause then. It seemed like a pause, and I remember thinking, what happens now? Do they call the police? Do they move us? I don't know. And I was genuinely just.
Because you don't.
Because you
in
got
the
yourself in a position then, haven't you?
Well, I mean, as Back said, you can't move now, but you don't look in. Like it looks like there's no doubt. It looks like there's no fear. It's like I'm not moving. It's really interesting to hear that behind the scenes you were thinking.
That's the sort of, when you're about to play, that's the mood you're in anyway. That's where you get yourself to play the game. So I'll be like that on any Saturday afternoon.
But that the thought crossed your mind, I could be in big trouble here.
Not so much that. I just thought, what's going to happen? Are they going to get, because nothing. When I've watched it, but I only watched it back on tape once. It's a bit cringeworthy, but it's quite a long time, isn't it? It's quite a long time. And but the thing was, as soon as we kicked off, the crowd sang "Fields of Athenry," and I've only had the hair stand up on the back of my neck once in my life, and that was it. It was a big game, and the atmosphere was very special, and it was a cracking game. And Ireland played very, very well. They actually played better in that game, I think, than the game they won 2 years before. That sounds ridiculous at the scoreline, but they actually did play. I think they had more of the game, were more of a threat in many ways.
Thanks a million for watching. If you want to subscribe, well, there's the button right there. If you want to see more videos, hit that down there.